Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SPT Overtime. My name is Shawn Wick, and today I'm joined by a member of the men's Akron basketball team, Uriah Rodeman. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Is this your first time on camera doing a recording session like this?
It's not. So I'm really involved in a bunch of things with my ministry, so I get to do stuff like this all the time for that.
Awesome. That's great. So you are a walk-on here on the University of Akron men's basketball team, and we talked a little bit in the summer that you were going to play at a different school, and you finally got the call from Coach Gross that he wanted you here. When did you receive that call?
So I received that call late June, early August probably.
Okay.
So it's been a whole process of seeing. I'm in a very different spot, so I'm not quite like Connor and Zach in their full walk-on. My role is more practice player for this year with the potential of stepping into a bigger role coming up. But this has always been my dream school for basketball. So that conversation really started in January when I reached out to Coach Gross. We thought it was going to work for a while, and then roster caps happened. So we thought it was off the table for about 3 months. Then he had called me back late July, right before school had started, and been like, hey, we might be able to get you in. There's a chance. I didn't actually know until a couple weeks after I had started school.
So this was like, you had no idea that this was going to happen. Like, it was out of your mind that this was even a possibility?
We thought the chances were very, very low.
Very, very low. Okay. And what schools were you interested besides Akron? Because I know that you had interest coming out of high school from different colleges.
Yeah, so I graduated, I think it was 28 offers.
Wow.
Like 7 or 8 of them were D2s. I was really interested in West Virginia, Wesleyan, Marietta, Taylor, of course, where I was previously committed. Great school. Love them. I'd encourage anybody to go to that school. Where else was I interested? A bunch of PAC schools. I was very interested in a bunch of, I would have loved to get offers from Ashland, Malone, Walsh, those schools. Didn't end up getting them. Really liked Heidelberg. I really liked Wheeling. I was really considering Wheeling.
Where's Wheeling?
Wheeling's in West Virginia, about 2 hours away. Okay. They gave me a nice athletic scholarship, so they were cool.
There's a lot of, mid-major schools in West Virginia in this area, I've noticed.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when you finally got that call from Coach Gross so close to the start of the year?
I was honestly terrified because he had said, what he had said is, you can come. I can't guarantee you anything, but I can do my best to get you in. And I know how much pull he has here just from being a family friend over the course of the past 6 years. So I banked on him. But honestly, what I thought is, crap, I might not play college basketball my first year of college. And it was scary for sure.
Yeah, so what has that process been like starting out here? And, you kind of, to a lot of people's understanding is that when you commit to a school, the process starts, if you commit in January, it starts in January. Yeah. It starts very early on. So what has that process been like starting out here?
It's been beautiful. I really do truly love it here and plan on staying for quite some time. The guys are super duper awesome. The guys are actually my favorite part of the basketball here, just building the relationships with them, and then, of course, getting to put some extra work in and save a year of eligibility and continue to progress.
And you mentioned that it went through your mind that you might not be able to play basketball your first year. How do you stay motivated day in and day out knowing that that's a very real possibility?
Yeah. It's cool if I talk about faith on here, correct?
Yeah, of course,
okay.
Of course.
So a big thing for me is I would like to say my why for what I do is Jesus. So if I'm building those relationships and connections, regardless if I'm getting playing time or not, I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose out in basketball. And of course I want to play, and of course I want to be the best player that I can and play as long as I can. But when the tough gets tough, that's what keeps me going.
So talking about your faith, you've done some, I don't know if it was youth pastor work or just talking. You mentioned at your ministry. What was that experience like?
It's really cool. A bunch of me and my good friends put together. Well, they had called me and asked me to come speak at a little worship night. I've done a couple of things just with Grace Church in Akron and in Richfield and Bath areas, and then through FCA with a bunch of my friends. So there's been a bunch of different things, but overall, getting to speak and talk about Jesus is something I could do and plan on doing for the rest of my life. So,
and how has that work impacted your game? Maybe on the court, maybe in the locker room. I know you mentioned that it is a big reason on why you keep going here.
Totally. So, I think for me, it comes down to identity. So if I put my identity in basketball and I'm not thriving and getting minutes and succeeding in a worldly way, then I'm going to feel like I'm not doing as well as I want to be doing. But if my identity is in Christ and what he says about me, then I'm free to just play freely and with confidence, knowing that my performance doesn't necessarily define my view or God's view of myself.
That's great. And speaking on relationships, how has your relationship with Coach Gross influenced your time here? You know, how did it sway your opinion from choosing to take I don't want to say a backseat role,
Yes.
but a less involved role? Maybe if you would have gone to a different school, maybe you had a rotational spot there. How has his relationship influenced that?
He's been a very, very spectacular role model for me. Something I want to do someday is probably coach. And getting to learn from him is absolutely amazing. He also isn't only just an incredible basketball mind. He's an amazing man, welcomes us over to his house, builds relationships with his players, and still connects with his players who don't even play here anymore. He's ever since the Grosses moved to the Revere District and started playing, I built a really close friendship with Connor. And then I knew that his dad was a coach here, and like just getting to be at his house, getting to know him, getting to know what he loved to do, who he was, like I feel like it's just an honor to play for him. And that's kind of been like, oh, I want to play for him ever since like the beginning. So that wasn't always vocalized, but it was always in there.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, we did go to the same high school.
Yeah.
We're 2 years apart. And then Connor Gross, the son of Coach Gross, he graduated in my class.
Yeah.
And you guys were obviously good friends, played basketball together. Just if anyone was
I guess there's not much backstory there for everybody. Like
just so they know. But yeah, so what is it like knowing that there have been some great walk-ons going through this program? You know, obviously the huge name is Enrique Freeman in the NBA right now. Another big one in the fans is Evan Wilson. So what is it like knowing that you have kind of these great people, other walk-ons to look up to?
I think it's super duper awesome. I think Enrique is just a big role model for hard work, and you know, you can come from anywhere and anything and do what you put your mind to. I think Evan is a great role model for leadership, vocal leadership by example. You know, he wasn't playing a ton his first handful of years. Even his senior year, he didn't play, you know, probably as much as he would want to, but he took pride in, you know, bringing energy and being a leader and like really, really thriving as a role model for our team. Yeah. So I think it's really, really cool to hopefully try my best to follow in their footsteps.
Yeah, they are great players, and knowing that as a walk-on that you have these guys to look up to must just feel so secure and just great. Now, transitioning into more of the basketball side, is it intimidating to play against these players? I mean, I have a class with Amani Lyles, and every time he walks in, I mean, he's, you know, like 6'8". It's intimidating, like standing next to these guys. I don't know. Is it intimidating like that first practice? What was it like?
Intimidating? I guess I have a lot of overconfidence probably at times. I really believe that, you know, I can play with these guys. So I personally, but I remember the first day we were doing a drill and I was holding a pad, and Amani, like what they do is like they have to run down the court and seal a guy like under the rim and post up. Amani knocked me on my butt like instantly. It was hilarious. The whole team laughed. It was a great moment. And then Evan did it 30 seconds later. So that's Evan Mahaffey. But yeah, so they're definitely large. The speed of the game is super fast. I think I would use the term like more like needing development and less intimidation. So,
but it's fun, right?
Oh, it's a blast. I wouldn't pick to play at any other level.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've obviously not going into college basketball anytime here, but yeah, it looks like just such a blast.
It's such a blast, and they play together so well.
And what are you learning, or what are you looking to learn here in your first year? Obviously, we touched on how it's kind of going to be like a developmental year. So is there anything specific that you want to learn in your first year?
That's a good question. I think something that I am learning is the system. What they do, what they run, what their mentality is, kind of their identity as a team and as a program. You look at a guy like Josh Henderson, been recruited and committed since, you know, a while. He's been getting to build that that identity and the system in his head. You know, like you said early, like the commitment process starts once you commit. So like that's super cool. Definitely taking the time to get caught up on speed of other things because they had all summer of practices too. So really love learning about who they are, who the guys are, what they're looking to do, and really just
Coach Gross. I mean, he's almost famous for his going to his deep bench, you know, game in and game out. It doesn't matter if the game's close, if it's far and away. So you really have obviously maybe not this year just because how the rosters work and stuff, but, you know, by next year you could see playing time, you know, just because of Coach Gross's, you know, I would believe that he has a ton of trust in you, you know, growing up with you and seeing you for so long. How does that make you feel that, you know, this is a very real possibility and it could happen very, very soon?
It's very encouraging. I know I still have so much to prove with the rest of the coaching staff here and the rest of the players coming in. They didn't necessarily know me in high school or anything, but I definitely am excited about it. I definitely am more focusing on day in and day out, proving and like working to get that spot and proving myself. So that's a lot of fun. But definitely like trying to like look forward it's very exciting. I'm super thrilled about it.
And how do you balance academics with the demands of being on a Division I basketball team? Yeah,
so that's a good question. It's difficult. So as a lot of you guys don't know, I was homeschooled my like 2.5 years of high school. So I got to do a ton of CCPs here through the school. So I graduated high school with about 24 credits of school from the university here.
Man.
So I didn't have to transfer those. They were already done. So I'm taking 12 credits a semester right now. And since I'm saving a year of eligibility, I'll be here 5 years. So I have lots and lots of time to do, you know, because I already have a year done.
So you can spread out your work
so
a little bit more than
spread
usually.
Out a ton.
Yeah.
I'm getting a coaching and leadership major, which isn't like incredibly difficult at the moment. I'm almost done with my gen eds. So I have it a little bit easier than some of the guys do, but it's definitely a challenge because you're putting in 8-hour days, 9-hour days, hoops.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not just like, oh, I have 3 hours to study. It's like, oh, I have 3 hours to study and do this stuff I want to do. But my body and my brain is exhausted from focusing. Well, film in itself is like a whole nother class.
So you would say it's definitely more of a mental exhaustion. It's a mental challenge.
Yeah, it takes a lot of just like locking back in and focusing.
And does being not having a solidified role, does that help? Does it hurt? You know, does it make it better, make it worse?
I think it's a daily thing. Some days it's easier, some days it's harder. If you're feeling down on yourself one day, it can be hard. Be like, man, I don't, you know, feel as confident today in my abilities. But then some days you do, and you're like, all right, I got this. And I remember why I'm doing this, and I feel great about my decision to be here. But it can be hard.
Is there anything is there any like one thing or maybe a couple things that you go to when you're having these down days?
I think family is huge. Friends is huge. Like having a good support staff and good system of people who are going to speak life into you and speak truth about who you are, where you've been, what you've done, how hard you're working, and encourage you is truly helpful in those days because you're surrounded by so many high-level people all the time that you're like, man, these guys are so good. And it's easy to remember and just like see yourself fade into the background. But when you have people speak like, okay, you're this, you're this, you're this. And also like going back to the faith stuff, like this is who you are, you know? So definitely like the confidence boosters in those things.
What part of the student athlete experience has surprised you the most?
That's a really good question.
I'm glad I made good questions here. Maybe something that you didn't expect, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe something that like you thought it was going to be this way and it ended up being completely different.
I think this is very like subjective to this school. I don't know if everybody's like that. How humble and approachable and human our guys are.
Really?
Like, I walked in and I expected them to be like, oh yeah, we're D1, we're MAC to MAC, we're MAC champions, we are like, there's that confidence is there. There's not arrogance. There's no like, oh yeah, you're just this puny little walk on. Like, No, they lift you up and they encourage each other, and everybody's like a family. So I think that was surprising to me. And I've heard people talk about how Coach Gross makes his culture like that. I didn't even comprehend how real it was.
That is just incredible to hear. We talk about the men's basketball team so much on here. I mean, it's the favorite of the school. Coach Gross is the favorite.
For sure.
And we always talk about how he creates this culture around us. And it's just so great to hear from a player that, this culture extends deeper than what you can just see on the court or maybe in a post-game interview. How would you measure success beyond just playing time or just on the court?
Yeah. Like in life or
just
like basketball
just
related?
In general, really. It can be basketball, it can be life, you can get a couple different answers here.
I think relationally, like building strong relationships that are going to last a lifetime is something I'm really excited about. And I think is a huge success. I think, doing good in school academically, I think learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable is a great skill that I'm learning, and that will help me gain success later. But I think relationally, like I keep saying over and over, like representing Christ is like success for me. So I think that's a great off the court thing.
So Christ is just obviously like,
dude, it's everything for me.
That's great. There's just been such a uptick in Christ, and I think it's great that people have something that they can,
spreading throughout our
rely
team as
on.
well.
Yeah,
which is super awesome.
Oh, and the
see.
team too.
It is.
Have you had any part of that, or maybe a little bit?
Probably not a ton. My voice doesn't carry a ton of weight quite yet. But our team chaplain Jamie Bosley has been awesome. Coach Gross has been awesome. Like he's been very bold speaking Christ into our team, and I couldn't be more thrilled to follow a leader that is. And then Marvin, of course, and Evan and Eric and Zach, like Sharon, Connor, our new GA Samson, like it's just like wildfire.
Wow.
Man. So we're really pumped about that.
All right, last question. Is there anything that you would like people to know about you that they might not already?
To know about me. I'd say that I'm available. And if that people have questions, they can reach out.
I mean, I literally texted you like 2 days ago, and you're like, yeah, Friday, here we go.
Like, just as we talked about Jesus and basketball and like all that stuff, that if like younger or equal age people or even older people like have questions about the team or about Jesus or anything like that, like you can reach out and I will answer. And like, just like I was talking about how all the guys are so humble and like welcoming, I want to gain and learn from my leaders. Like Amani's so good at this. I remember like the first day I showed up, Amani was like just brought me right into the group and it was awesome. But like it really is a thing that like you can like hit me up and ask questions. I think is a thing that people don't necessarily know. And I know as like D1 athletes, it's like, oh, you have to formally reach out and everything. Nah, like you don't have to do that. So I think that's something I'd want people to know.
That's great. Once again, from SPT Overtime, I'm Shawn Wick, and I was joined by a member of the men's basketball team here at the University of Akron, Uriah Rodeman.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. This was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.